Hi, if you'd like to come on in to have a seat for a little divination dose today and see what the aura of all that is. I'm going to utilize the scrolls today, which has a combination of colored, contrast, and whiting for spirit. It is one of one. I'll put the link below if you wish to be the soul that snags it. All right. We're going to continue grabbing here. Ooh, we had that one come through as well. Interesting. Thank you so much for joining me. For all those who like, share, and subscribe, we'll add on tarot and oracle along the way. And of course, we have the spirit box here already given shout outs. If you want to take a moment to close the eyes, release the race and the rush, activating the abstract mind and ancient awareness to perceive and receive symbolic support. Where are we going today? Interesting. If you do enjoy scrying with ink along with me, the set doesn't have any words on it. Just to act like a scrying mirror and allow the ink to move around, see what symbols stand out, and to really build and trust your intuition. Okay, so James. Yeah, there's definitely a spirit stepping forward. I don't know if the lighting, see it there? The lighting will let it come through. And they're drawing down. Is it an octopus? I feel like I'm weaving something. In the aura of this day, something creative is being drawn down. Somebody in spirit is helping. Yeah. Okay. And interesting. So if you're resonating with this message today already, as convoluted as it's starting out to be, it's as if the spirit, whether it's of self, your higher self, a guardian, this, that, or the other, is coming through to help manifest something very clearly that my eyes are set on is how I'm feeling. And it's like a tripod of stability. Like that's how strong I feel like I want this to come down. Something about the spirit also is about the Akashic records or some sort of reflection or review. I almost get the sensation like, did I miss something or did I miss the boat? Something about time. Like, did I miss the time or the window? And it's like a bifold window. Any sort of conflict in drawing it down could be creating like an inner war, and that's being asked to be released. Whatever it is you're manifesting. Whatever it is that you're wanting to draw down into your reality. Because it's like seeing like a probable reality. What are the probabilities? It's not finite. It's almost like different things to experience different degrees of destiny, whatever destiny may mean to you. Okay, and when I come into the root chakra scroll, just by the coloring, there's something in that might be like sticking in the craw about where I came from, the bloodline, this, that, or the other. And I'm seeing two swords in it. And you know how when there's some sort of container and there's two swords and it's blocking the flow, I'm seeing them being pulled out. And as those are being pulled out, so this information can come into this tripod of stability. And then I come into like, I don't know if the lighting will let that come through. Probably not. That's fine. It's like I see solar smoke come out. And this solar smoke is coming out as light language of DNA, destiny, again, probabilities. But I need to release these two swords of sort. So the information can flow. And I can really embody it and bring it down. And then it's like I bring it down into a creative boat. And when I say creative, I'm landing in like sacral space. So however you create, whether it's with food, writing, it's at your job, maybe you create sandwiches, you prepare food, or you do classes, you teach. But okay. I see some sort of tug of war happening. And this brings me into the conflict. I don't know if it's like a mind and heart or no, that's not. It kind of feels like logic. It's almost like if somebody was sitting and thinking and somebody's seeing them doing something and you're like, well, I'm just thinking, contemplating the probabilities and perspectives. But by viewing that, it's like that person's doing nothing. Like physically, the action is passive. But it's almost as if that time, if it's too logic or linear in the drawing down, it's almost like release the sense of it to feel it linearly come into your rainbow bridge, come into the energy centers and allow it to move in. And from there, the swords are released and then they all start communicating through the body. And then that, say, meditative person starts doing things almost organically. Like you'll just start doing things because now the interdimensional self, I'm going to say, the introspective individual is inspired from this passive moments. There's many moments. And it doesn't have to be a sitting in stillness necessarily. It's just an openness to like clean the slate of compartmentalizing, manifesting in only a logical way. It's almost like the information comes down intuitively, coalesces with the energy chakra centers, and then moves through your body in linear, logical ways to help manifest it. Does that make sense? I feel like that makes sense. I'm going to add on some tarot and oracle. It was a long-winded way to have it make sense. In the simplest way, I just heard be open to receive without trying to make sense of it when it's in intuitive mode. Yes. It's like that part of the brain, that part of the function isn't necessarily the right sense at the time. Oh my goodness. Okay, we have lots going on here. Love, travel, and choice is coming through. Yeah, you're working with something. Or if you're resonating with this story, you are working with love of, again, whether it's higher self.
Man.
Yeah, a man in spirit. There's something about a cycle being closed out in relation to the root chakra. Okay. And as I say that, and I acknowledge, it's not in a closing the door of, it's almost like shaking hands with it and saying, thank you for your service. Thank you for your lessons. Thank you for the foundational clues, tricks or treat. I'm going to remove any of these swords that may represent to me blocks, traumas, triggers in a negative space. And I'm going to open the flow and then take that sword and use it to my advantage. Like things that might be in your lineage or DNA that you see may appear or sense are like damning or they're obstacles. It's like pull them out and use them to your advantage. And yeah, it's there to protect you, not to to push you back. And it's almost like the love of that realization brings in more of a flow to move through it. But I am absolutely manifesting something here. And I'm going to assume for each of us it's different. And the way everyone's going to go about it is different. But once we start just subtly appreciating the strength of passivity, thinking, contemplating this, that, or the other, like maybe you're on the treadmill or maybe you're reading a book. I don't know what it is. Allowing the intuitive inspiration to come through to coalesce, like I said, and then be logicalized in actions to say, okay, well, now I'm in the earthly realm here. I'm feeling these inspirations. And then I do things. Transformation, seduction, refreshment, and spirit of nature. I'm going to take transformation and seduction first. This is that transformation of the tripod. Sorry. The lighting's always obscure, but I like to sit in the dark. It's my happy place, I suppose. There's something in the transformation that kind of like a tower moment, but I don't necessarily want to land in there. It's like toppling over something, because in this card there's a gravestone toppled over. And that's something in the lineage that I thought was an obstacle or set me back. And really, it's leverage, lineage leverage. And that's almost what I'm transforming in my mind. I'm like, oh, I can really use this to relate to people. I can use these experiences as examples. And I'm not trying to cure or make it go away in any sort of regards of healing or reflection of the Akashic here over here. It's almost as if it's like to be healed, I might imply that there's some sort of forgetting or it ceases to exist. And that's not the case. Again, it's like, use it. Spirit of nature and refreshment. I don't know if that will come through with the lighting, but I do try. This has been something old. And it almost feels refreshing in the way you might be considering like the seeds of what it is that you're being sending to yourself. I think your nature is going to change, like the nature of the way we, the aura of all, interact with. It's not mind, body, soul. It's not mind and heart. There's something else. It's like the way I'm ingesting information, the way I ingest it and then, digest it. This seems to be in relation to manifesting something. The Queen came up. And it's such an interesting... Will this come through? There we go. Like your snakes are leading you. The snakes of contemplation are leading you by following them. They're telling you what's valuable. Yeah, the ring. They'll show you the cycles if we keep meeting the same blocks, if we keep meeting the same or similar, similar reflections too. I think it's May something or other, love. Maybe May 7th, 9th. The medallion in the vessel. I know I was saying something, but now I can't remember. like when they get tied up in the knot, it's like they show you the spot, the same reflections, or we seem to hit the same
bathroom,
point. And it's like, oh, that could actually be the point to pull the swords out and say, I keep coming back here. It's like the last save spot, right? This is, you're playing your video game of life, and this was the last save point, so we go back there. And it's almost like I'm envisioning it like, well, I need to erase this to make it go away, cure it. And it's like, it's actually the clue. It's the clue. The vessel and the medallion. This is possibly even the way you've already come about it, realizing the vessel of the information being drawn down. And it's like, yes. And then like feeling that, I don't know if it's light language or light love. Maybe it's light love. Light love. Okay. Closing out messages for this daily divination dose. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to all those who like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. And as well to those who donate. So on the bottom here we have Teehee. And as the cards were coming out, it was very clear to me to like have a sense of humor through it. Just through life in general, like to almost like lighten up a little bit. And that came through with do, wackadoo, and do it now. See if these cards will come through. There. Wackadoo, wackadoo, wackadoo. And there's that boat. That
what is this?
Sorry, the lighting's like really obscure today. Anyway, so there's a boat in there. Towards the sun. Towards the sun. It's a dog eat dog food world. It's a dog eat dog. It's a dog eat dog world. Or it's a dog eat dog food world. That's how that's coming through. And it's almost as if like by having a sense of humor.
It's not easy.
It's not easy, but you can change the information that's coming through. Oh, it's a dog eat dog world. Well, it's a dog eat dog food world. They're just eating dog food. And again, it's like someone is laughing at you. It makes me feel like, because there's lots of things about tee-hee, ha-ha, and there's a boo being over here. It's almost like laughing at yourself. No one's laughing at you. And even if they are laughing at you, maybe good. Maybe they're having a happy moment at my expense or at your expense. Does it really matter? I don't know. I guess that's individual for everybody. But even still, just being able to laugh at the self and say, oh, that was a tumble, or oh my goodness. And just laughing, the benefits of laughing. Drugged and dragged and boo. And I'm not going to lie, like I feel like this is like saying, for me anyway, in this message, it's like sometimes we need to shock ourselves out of the typical way we work in our manifestation, whatever that is. Maybe, it could be a new car. It could be this. Maybe it's just simply expanding of our energy and our auras, the way we interact with people, the way we interact with ourselves first and foremost. Okay, interacting with the self, the different spaces of self, the mind, the heart, the body, the soul. That's where it comes in. Okay, now I'm back in there. The typical language we all know, but there's this other space that I feel like you're working in. There's an elevated energy that you are in right now, but it kind of feels unknown because it's asking you to draw down. I can say the Akashic, but there's something else. But I don't want to repeat myself, but you know what I mean. And something has to do with being open to more of one's own self. Like press the box out. And being drugged and dragged, it's like being scared out of it in like a shock, like boo. And then you're like, oh. And like the book flip out, say you're reading a book or even a bunch of cards, and you're doing your typical thing, you're stepping forward, and then it's like, oh my goodness. And then a card or the page opens up to a different page and you're reading, and then you look at it and you're like, oh, look at that. Change and seer came flying out along with disputation. Yeah. And you come to like your sword and the stone, but it was like, whoa. I don't know if that's a really odd way of explaining that, but it's almost as if like there's some way information's coming down somewhere, and maybe this is an observation of others, that you can see how it's like a drug, right? And you get drugged into receiving information in the singular formation. You need to be shocked out of it sometimes. Like even what's that example coming through when people say, oh, I'm going to unplug for a week or unplug for a month or whatever the case may be. That's one form of shock by removal, but I feel like there's sometimes also another way to add something in. And that's up to you. It's up to every individual. And it's quite pleasing. Okay. Any last messages for those that are manifesting and working with more than it's a dog eat dog food world, having a sense of humor and sailing off to the sun of what it is that you want? It's almost like what it is that you want, desire, or to do in regards to that growth. Like the sun is like the rays start to attract to you, the rays of the sun, of the solar body, of that light love. Last but not least, we'll take it. Okay, thanks. For gun, become a loving mirror. Samadhi, perfect acceptance. There's another 10 in there. So this, what comes to me like all the way back home to the self, coming back to that root. Your lineage works as leverage. Perspective. Not necessarily perception, perspective. And once those things are accepted and they're not forgotten, or it's almost like sometimes they might like dissipate into the, like, oh, I didn't remember that because I just haven't been there. I changed my perspective over it so long ago. I'm like, oh yeah. It'll just kind of like dissipate. And then last but not least, we have here, it's time to lead. Seriously, I got to fix the lighting in here somehow. Lead your own life. Lead yourself towards what it is that you want. You're like right up there from the nose to the eyes to the brow and up. Like right up here. Information comes down to help inspire your interdimensional individuality to ingest, digest, and decide how you'll move through the linearity of this life to experience destiny. You can't do no wrong. You're going to make more of what it is that you truly want. Okay, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I will see you again soon.